Okay, guys, good morning. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Can you all hear me well? And can you see the screens? So what you have here is 5 minute and 1 minute side by side. Okay, those of you struggling with 1 2 3s, see you got the 1 2 3 set up here, haven't you? Yeah. So see the system draws those lines for you, okay, and that is to help you. Now, with experience, you will not need that. Often, me personally, I don't use that, right? But it's ideal for newbie traders. Personally, I like to have as little things on my charts as possible. Yeah, as little as possible, right? Because if I've got little or few things on my charts, I can see things very clearly. Because say if I didn't have this 1 2 3 indicator, just my naked eye will tell me that, look, this is lower than that, this is lower than that, okay? Here it is doing a potential, okay? So underline the word potential. It is not confirmed. It's a potential lower high. So often when I say WL means watch list, yeah? So if I say, okay, GBP USD watch list for short, as it's doing a 1 2 3 below yellow, okay? This is the yellow here, but on the white, yellow doesn't show up, so I've changed that to brown, okay? And what you do there is if a 1 2 3 happens, right, you basically look for a trade, as simple as that. So what you would do is you would draw a trend line, break off the 2 to 3 line there, okay? If the price doesn't break this, then there is no trade. So, you know, the watch list is out of the window, isn't it? I would say graduate members are literally milking money out of these markets. I mean, yesterday, you know, you didn't really have massive moves, but guess what? I've had some emails last night. I haven't checked most of my emails this morning. But I've had guys banking 200 and 300 pips. Okay, 300 pips when the market wasn't really doing much. I mean, when I say much in the sense of 100 and 200 pips, okay? But it was doing lots of 15, 20 pips. And then, yes, we had some 50 pips and so on, yeah? But lots of 10, 15, 20 pips. And imagine if you are looking at lots of charts and 10 trades at 20 pips, that's your 200 pips, isn't it? No big deal, yeah? So, yeah, yesterday was a day where I was doing lots of in and out sort of thing. And when it goes onto the watch list, see here, this is a perfect 1 2 3. But 5 minute, right, the ribbon is sloping up. So what you're really looking for is the ribbon to start to slope down. So say, for example, here, but the pullback must be big enough. So here, say this is when the ribbon slopes down. On the 5 minute, it would be somewhere here. Okay, so this is your 1. Okay, the system's drawn the 1 2 3. This is your 2, and this would have been the 3. But between 1, 2, and 3, right, what is the pullback? Right, just naked eye. I don't have to physically draw those Fibonacci extension. Naked eye tells me that that pullback is something like 25%. So does that qualify under the rules of a low risk, high probability? No, it doesn't. So we don't take the trade. Ideally, we want to wait minimum 50%. Yeah. Okay, occasionally when it's less than 50, there are lots of confluences of indicators. You got a profit buffer, go for it. Take the trade. But then the exit's gonna be aggressive as well. Yeah, exit's gonna be aggressive as well. So here, Aussie dollar 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now I would say this is about 45%, 50%. So now this goes into my watch list, right? So I draw a trend line. There you go. So to draw a trend line, this is what you are looking at. See here, it comes on the screen, draw a trend line, yeah? For me to enter, this is what I'm looking at, yeah? Okay, euro dollar, 1, 2, potential 3. Yes, I have. Okay, so what gives you right to increase your trade size? Right? What gives you right to increase your trade size? To increase the, you got to have a right to increase the trade size, and that is by being a consistent winner. Okay? By being a consistent winner, you can increase the trade size. You got to go slowly, take those mini steps. Yeah, you got to sweat it out initially. You know, if you want to run a marathon, you can't just wake up in the morning and say, that's it, London Marathon today. You know, guys have to train for weeks and months, isn't it? Yeah, trading is just like that. You've got to sweat it out. Right now, GBP, see, can you see that? Perfect 1, 2, 3 naked eye. This is saying that this is 70%. Yeah, just have a quick look at 30 minutes, right? So what this is telling me is this was a fake breakout, right? This one here, right? This was, I think, a signal Bhavesh issued yesterday, isn't it? Raise your hands. How many of you took this trade? Okay, this was worth 100 pips. Okay, raise your hands. How many took this trade? Wow, this is fantastic, man. Well done, guys. Well done. Really like it. Okay. Yep, so I can see about 80% raise hands. Well done. Okay, this is really good, guys. Okay, so you would have bent lots of pips there, but see there, that was a perfect 1, 2, 3. This is your 1, 2, and 3. This is my fake breakout, isn't it? Yeah, a perfect example of a fake breakout. Okay, then we go over to the 5 minute. Okay, I'm gonna draw this trend line here. Yes, so it is right up to the trend line. 1, 2, near enough, 3, 4. Now let's see what happens next. A tail there. I've already drawn the potential 2 to 3 line, and 1 minute there. Okay, so this would be an interesting short. Yeah, we just need momentum here below the yellow, below the red. Okay, now okay, was he not doing anything? DAX has opened. I'll let that settle down a bit. Okay, GBP, JPY. Okay, we covered this in the broadcast yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, okay. We had covered this on the broadcast, and yesterday on emails, quite a few did take this trade. Now, just have a look at the resistance. So see this part here, right? This part here happened later on in overnight, but this was what was happening yesterday morning. Yeah, so I've got double top there, 1, 2, 3, okay? The 2 to 3, what percentage would that be from 0.1? Would be about 85%. Yes, 85% would be the 2 to 3. Perfect. The higher the percentage, the better it is. Yeah, okay? Then we go over onto that 5 minutes. So here, see, I'm just gonna draw this line here, right? So when we go over onto the 5 minute, you can actually see that that was the setting which we had from the higher time frame. Got it? And here is I draw my trend line. Yes, I got near enough triple tops there. Okay, here, this is interesting, but the only thing here is the pullback is very little, right? It's very little. I'll just go and check a 30 minutes chart. Okay. Okay, this is my break of the 2 to 3 lines. Yeah. Okay. So I would want to see a mini pullback. Okay, so here it's broken. So a mini pullback, and then we can take a short trade here. So I'll go back over onto the 5 minute chart. Right, 30 was okay. 5 is very little pullback. That's your 1, that's your 2, that's your 3. Yeah, so it's a very little pullback there. Okay, so see the arrows come. Yeah, okay, the arrow has come. I need a pullback there. Yeah, Kathy, you could have taken a trade here. Yeah, nothing wrong in taking a trade. The key is you really want to have that mini pullback. Okay. Okay, Paresh, where do I put a stop? So let's say that's your 1, that's your 2, that's your 3. So as the tutorial says, the stops should be either at 0.3 or 0.1, right? Okay, so see, often people ask questions in terms of how many pips. No, you see, you don't go by the pips, right? Because euro dollar, often we can get away with an 8 or 10 pip stop. So let's say, supposing if I put a trade here, right? So supposing a trade was there, my stops would be there, say 16 pips there, yeah? But if I was looking at, say, Euro Aussie, then just that would be something like 50 pips. If I was looking at US 30, that would be 150 pips, yeah? So, recap, stop loss should be at 0.1 always, right? 0.1 always of the higher time frame, either 5 minute, right? But if the pullback is not big, then the stop loss would be at the 0.3, right? Okay, for short trade, you see the M5 and then enter on M1. Do we need to see M15 and M30? Just a quick scan through, i.e., like for example here, see, I just quickly went through on M30, right? So obviously I don't need to go H4, H1, M30, M5, and so on, right? Just a quick scan at M30 and just look at the bigger picture, okay? Look at a bigger picture, right? And then you go over onto M1, right? Now this one here, I specifically did it, I say for guys who are struggling with 1 to 3's higher time frame, and some are still focusing on M1 all the time. You shouldn't be looking at M1 all the time, yeah? Okay, so here Aussie dollar, that's by 1, 2, and 3. That's the break of the 2 to 3 line, okay? See, that's the break, the mini pullback. So this would be a good example of a bob, right? Okay, this would be a good example of a bob. Okay, that was that break candle here. Okay, this would have been, but you see, I want that pullback above here. You see, euro, the pullback is very little pullback, but you can take a trade there if you want to. Yeah. So this would be like a 1 minute trade. So Aussie dollar, if I look at 30 minutes, yeah, it is a bullish looking chart, isn't that? Right? See, my swing trading is long. So this is what I would be looking for, okay? For longs above the red, right? So back again over onto the 5 minute chart. So this would be a quick scalping trade, yeah? Okay, and then depends what happens. So here, bang, I've taken a trade, okay? I've taken a trade and see my EA has set the stop. That's my 1, 2, 3, just about 0.1, isn't it? Yeah. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. No big deal. Yeah. Now, there's going to be some support here, right? So I could raise my target. My TP was just above the yellow. Yeah. And my TP2, right, it's right up there. Yeah. Okay, my TP2 is right up there. So the TP2 is big, right? See here, this was the break. I really wanted the pullback. So I think a couple of guys took this trade, okay? And I said, look, nothing wrong with that, right? This was a good 1, 2, 3, but the problem is the pullback was very little. So what I'm really looking here, so if one took a trade here, the stops would have to be there at ideally at 0.1, but aggressive, you put a stop at 0.3, got it? Yeah. So this was, again, use this as a tutorial. Yeah. Yes, we didn't physically take a trade. I think few guys took the trade. Okay. And that has moved. So taken on here, 10 pips or take away spread. So it's about 8 pips or so. Yeah. Okay. Okay, show of hands. How many of you took a trade on euro dollar? Was an aggressive one? Wow, quite a few of you. Well done, guys. And I love that. Obviously, the reason here is I just want to make sure that, you know, I follow the rules right to the, you know, the system. Because obviously I do have some newbies here. Harish, okay, so the stop loss, I think that that's answered the question, yeah? Okay, Bina, so I think I've answered your question during the top-down approach, yes? Okay, euro, so see that GBP, you have the arrows, GBP yen, well, I think I missed that. I really missed that. I should have actually taken. I think I was focused too much on the tutorial. By the way, did anybody take GBP JPY? But look, if you look at this one here, this was a perfect, absolutely perfect textbook setup, right? And I think I was too focused on the tutorial here. And yeah, sometimes I think that can be a bit frustrating. Wow, this is fantastic. Lots of raised hands who took the trade on GBP JPY. Yeah, okay. Now look at that. That is 27 pips. Okay, Aussie dollar wise, I was talking, it took me out. It banked the TP1. And right now it's what, 11 pips there. Okay, Bina, did you take that trade? Okay, quite a few Okay, what is an EA? EA is an expert advisor. That's a robot which I'm building at the moment. See here where it says J Lakhani EA2. Okay, obviously this is too advanced stuff for some of the guys. So what it really does is as soon as I press the buy and sell, it takes the trade, 2 trades automatically. So this is what I'm working on, the settings and everything. And yeah, once it's working fully well, that's when I plan to release it. Okay, so I hope it explains. Gosh, lots of you guys took GBP as well. Well done. Yeah. See, again, yeah, at the start, I said I was looking at the GBP, wasn't I? Yeah. I said this is the watch list. Now, look at that. If I look at that 5 minute, okay, one. Now, Bina, use this as a good tutorial, right? That's your 1. That's your 2. And that's your 3. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay. The pullback is 80%. Break off the 2. You see, you had that arrow here, right? And break off the 2 to 3 line there. Okay. So this was good. Yeah. And I just want to make sure that you get a lot out of this session. Whether we make lots of profit or not, it's immaterial, but I think quite a few graduate members have taken a trade here. They've taken a trade on GBP, JPY. A few have taken a trade on Euro dollar. This wasn't a textbook, but nothing wrong with that. This was a textbook trade on Aussie dollar. Okay, we took the trade, TP1 banked. Yes, USD JPY, nothing much really happening. As you can see, it's just going sideways here. Okay, so we need to get the sideways movement break. So we don't care whether it breaks to the upside or it breaks to the downside. It breaks to the downside here, then I would be looking for I'd be looking for a break, back up again and down. Okay, so see, it's just been about 40 minutes. It's 7:30. I would say just today, just the settings only on the 6 chart is worth already about 150 pips or so. Yeah. But again, you see, the purpose of these sessions here is twofold, right? It is tutorial, right? But equally at the same time, we want to trade, we want to make money. So when to take the trades? Bina, how many average pips one should take a day, else a trader will go, look, I wouldn't put a figure, right? One of the things which I always say in my video tutorials is focus on the process, but do not focus on the results. Do not focus on the fruits of that result. That's a quotation which I've learned from taking spirituality studies. Yeah, but you focus on the discipline. You focus on the process. You focus on the trading plan. Yeah, you focus on the 1, 2, 3s. You focus on the pullbacks. You focus on the break of 2 to 3 line. You focus on the mini pullback. You focus on the bob. So if we look at that trade we took on Aussie dollar, was perfect on everything. But, and once I've taken the trade, I don't look at the bottom line, right? I don't look at how many pips. I don't look at how much profit, because if you're going to be focusing on how much profit, right, then what sort of emotions are you looking at? What sort of emotions are there? They are emotions of fear, emotions of greed, emotions of anxiety, and so on and so forth, isn't it? Yeah? Okay. So what you should say to yourself is, rephrase that instead of how many average pip. You see, I'm not saying don't have a goal. Yes, have a goal and say, my goal is, you know, say 500 pound a day. Okay, and forget 500. I've got members who are doing much more than that 500 pound a day. Okay, much more than that. I've got chartered accountants who have packed up their full-time job. Well, a good example is in my own household. Bhavesh, he's a qualified chartered accountant. But set your goals, but once you set your goals, let go. Let go. Do not be attached to that. Then you got to focus on that process. Okay? So I hope that answers your question. Now, if we look at the euro dollar here, okay, the swing is all red, right? The euro dollar is all red. So this is perfect, spot on. The only reason here was the pullback was very little there, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, let's look at GBP here. Okay, B1 was green, but B2, which is the long term. So let's just look at the 30 minutes, right? So look at that, the 30 minutes, right? Again, see, I did go through in detail on this chart, didn't I, Sham? Yeah, I hope you followed it. This was that double top there. And remember, I said this was that fake breakout and a break there. So the long term, right, is basically short from literally when Bhavesh gave out that signal yesterday. Yeah, the long term was short since Bhavesh gave out that signal yesterday. And here, what you see there, that was a fake breakup. So this is really telling me that this baby wants to go down, a big tail there. Then over into the 5-minute chart, 1, 2, 3. Okay, ideally, if everything is red, you know, say for example, like what you have here on euro dollar, this is fine. But you got to have minimum 2, or if you're focusing on scalping, then you disregard this, but you focus here, but you focus on the price action here. So focus on your 1, 2, 3s here. 1, 2, 3 is a starting point. The 1, 2, 3 must be at a pivot, must be at a trigger, must be at a ribbon. Okay, Sham, does that help you? Or are you still confused? Bina, what's your thought on GBP now? If I trade now, okay, what do you want to do now, Bina? I mean, you got to be specific whether you want to go long or short. Okay, yes, you can go short here. This would be a ribbon trade, yeah, right? So supposing you go short here, my stops is just gonna be there, okay, right? My stop is just going to be there. So again, you know, for tutorial, let's say I'll take that trade. Yeah, this is a real account trade. I mean, I may lose some money, but no big deal. Okay, so see, I've taken, this is a ribbon aggressive trade. Now see, my EA, my robot has already placed the stop way high up, right? So see, how much is that stop, right? That is 50 pip, which is a lot. Okay, so where would my stop be? My stop would be just there. Got it? Yeah. Okay, now let's look at the targets. Okay, the EA has set up a target just below resistance. So I could say, okay, I'm just going to move one of the targets there. And then say, I'll look at H4. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. Yeah. So if the H4 trigger breaks, this could go down a lot. If this breaks here, okay, this breaks here, I think this could collapse. Then I could literally keep moving my targets there. Okay, right? So you know, obviously be specific, i.e., shall I take a trade? Is it a long or is it a short trade? Yeah. So yeah, that's my thoughts on GBP USD. I hope it helped you. Yeah. Here, Aussie dollar. Okay, the arrow came here, right? Was there a confluence of indicators? So see here, if I was not training, I would have added at this point. Okay, video number 213. Watch that a zillion times. Add to the winners, add to the winners, add to the winners. What do amateurs do? They cut the profits. They don't cut the bloody losses. They cut the profits. They add to the losers. They add to the losers. Yeah? Okay? This is what you are looking at. Adding to the winners. Okay? Show of hands if anybody added to the winners whilst also listening to this. Wow, that is fantastic. Okay. Not a huge, but a good 30%. Okay. Not a huge take up here, but a few of you guys added. So see, the arrow came here. Okay. Everything was spot on. Okay. What about here? The arrow came there, but a quick check. Was there a 1, 2, 3 there? Right? Either before or after. Yeah. Before or after. Okay. Before. Yes. Perfect. Here I don't have pullback. Okay. How much was the pullback? Okay. What about this arrow here? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay. So here you would have taken a trade on this candle there, right? How much has it given you? Say your entry was there. Okay, 8 pips, not enough for your TP1. So this would be a losing trade. Yeah, this would be a losing trade. How much would be your loss? Right? You would exit somewhere here, right? As soon as B1 turned red, you would exit there. Okay, trade management. Entry there, exit there. How much have you lost? Four pips. 4 pips is what you lost on that trade. Big deal? No, not a big deal. Yeah? Okay? It's silly. Okay, bang. So see, change color here. B1, swing, change color. B2 is already red, right? So as soon as it changed color, right, you can take the trade. You can take the trade, right? Where will your stop be? It will be at the previous high, the 1, 2, 3. So here, just have a quick look at your 5 or a 15-minute 1, 2, 3. So let's say I go over onto the 5. Say this is that trend line I drew. Yeah. Go back over into that 1-minute chart, right? The stop is going to be here. So say you took the trade there. Stop's going to be there. You took the trade there, right? 10 pips. Bloody hell, just look at that. A swing trade, 10 pips. 10 pips. What's the target? Already moved close to 50 pips. Reward 5, risk 1, and it is still going south. Yeah, it is still going south there. Okay, but the key point is if you then wait for that 1, 2, 3, right, on that 5-minute chart. So the signal change. So see, I'm on a 5-minute. That line which I drew on 1 minute is still there, right? So this is still going to be the same. I could even go on to the 15-minute. See, it's still there. It doesn't matter whether you're on H4, H1, H30, whatever. It doesn't matter. That line, that color change is still there. So what you're really doing is M1 or M5, right? You get into a trade when the color changes, but the best will be is A, do you have a 1, 2, 3 before or after? Okay. So let's look at here before. I mean, I'm doing these tutorials. You guys may miss some trades. Are you guys happy with that? Yeah? Okay, are you guys happy with that? Okay, see JBP, it's now 12 pips in profit. It's already taken my TP1. I'm not at all interested, right? I'm detached, okay? Wow, majority of you with raised hands. Okay, fine. So if you're happy with that, you know, let's do the tutorials, because the key point is money making is important, but once you are there on your own on this big wide world, you should be able to do all the things which I do. Okay, Darren, would you mind going through how you selected your target on Aussie dollar? Okay, my EA has done it, but then what I do is I manually look at that, right? Okay, let's just go over onto that 30 minutes. So see, the target there is just above that resistance there. Sorry, support. I got a very strong support there. But you know what? I would actually even pull it down, right? So just look at H4. Okay, what do you see? Okay, okay, write it on the chat box. What do you see there? And I'm gonna do this to help you out. Okay, take your time, but look at that. This is H4. Yeah, brilliant, well done. You've seen the 1, 2, 3. Okay, excellent. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 on a higher time frame. Yeah, and then see, we actually engineered that entry on that 1 minute chart. See, this is the entry here. Okay, now see, my stops are still there. Now I can get my stops just about red. Okay, just about red. My stop now is 3 pips. My stop is 3 pips, and H4, look, my target's there currently, but I'm gonna keep changing my targets. 182 pips there. My risk is 3 pips. My risk is 3 pips. Understand this, right? Targets is monstrous. And this is when you make money. Yeah, this is when you make money. So look at the risk and look at the reward. You know, like the trade which Pavish gave out yesterday on GBP, and you know, see how he's always talking about the risk reward. Yeah, okay. And some of the trades which he's taken, you know, risk is 1, target is 3, monstrous target. Some of the trades which he's taken is 300 pip profit, but then also lots of small losses. But you'll only succeed if you take all the trades, no pick and choose. Yeah, no pick and choose. Darren, does that answer your question? Okay, Nadim, how about USD JPY for a watch list? Okay, be specific. Watch list for a what? Long or short? What are you looking at? Are you looking for? Because see, I've got 50-50. I got 1 red, 1 green. 1 red, 1 green. Okay, so just have a quick look at the longer time frame. You had a big down move, and now it's just sort of like going sideways. But you know, you could say that the bias is probably towards a long side. Okay, so it's a 50-50, right? It's a 50-50 because 2 are red and 2 are green. Yeah. Okay, trade I took, ribbon trade on GBP. The stops was just above the ribbon. So let's say you could look at that chart again. See there, and right now it would be about 20 pips or so. Yeah, so you can take that aggressive trade, but what you would need is you would need to have your stops tight as well. Yeah, so overall what you're really looking at there is when we looked at the 30 minutes, the bias was towards the upside. It broke this resistance, right? But the candle was very big there, isn't it? So what you really want to see happen here is, having broken, I want it to come down and then do this. Okay, so that would be one scenario, right? The other, what I would look at is a short below yellow or red. Yeah, okay, so these V-shaped and A-shaped 1, 2, 3s. Yeah, so these V-shaped and A-shaped 1, 2, 3s. So this is what I would be looking at on the USD JP bar. Okay, Rashida, could you go through the reasons for the DAX trade? Of course, yes. As I said, it was a 1 minute trade. Yeah, it was a 1 minute trade. Yes. So again, just have a quick look at 30 minutes. Yeah. Okay, you got that 1, 2, 3. You got that big candle there. Yeah, you got a big candle there. Over into the 5 minute, a nice 1, 2, 3 there. Okay, it's just been stopped out there. Okay, so it just stopped me out. But as I said, it was only a 1 minute trade. Yeah, it was only a 1 minute trade. Yeah, this was your 1. This was your 2, this was your 3, break of the 2 to 3 line, and stops were very tight, just above the trigger line. Yeah. So next, supposing if I go back over into the 5 minute chart, okay, this high is lower than this high. So see, I've actually got a really nice 1, 2, 3 there. The only damn thing here is that, you see, I've got these big candles there. Yeah, really big candles. So in terms of that entry, it was right at that, just after that big candle there. But swing is long, right? The only thing is that you had big candles there. And then over onto that 1 minute. Now what happened here is the red, sorry, the 1, 2, 3 here stayed on. Now, if supposing the prices would have broken that, right, this would have collapsed, right? This would have literally collapsed. Yeah, okay, but it didn't. Okay, so going back over into the 1 minute, as I said, this was only a 1 minute trade, and had this broke, I reckon this could have been worth a good 200 pips there. But on the other side, we looked at a very, I would say, a bit of an aggressive trade. Yeah, as I was very clear that this is a 1 minute trade. Okay, for longs, what I would want to see happen now that it's created a bullish 1, 2, 3. So for longs, I would want this to happen. Yeah. So basically, the trigger here, 1, 2, 3 above the trigger line. Okay. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3 above the trigger line. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? I think I've been running for quite some time. I think it's literally time to pack up. Okay, any more questions, guys? Anyways, I hope, as I say, this was useful. And, you know, this would have really answered all your questions, right? So next thing what I want is amazing, amazing trading statements from you. Okay? Take care. God bless and happy trading. Goodbye.